During the draft, GMs will pick players in the order shown on the draft board. In the first round, each GM starts with one pick. In each subsequent round, the order of the picks will be reversed. You may notice that some of these picks seem out of order. This is because GMs can also trade various picks with each other for favorable positioning or different players. Any player that is already signed to a team from a previous season may be kept by using a corresponding draft keeper pick to lock them in. In the end, each tier's draft will be completed, and all teams will have 6+ players to try out in the preseason, before then selecting their final 5. Players cut can substitute for or sign to other franchises, so keep an eye out for your name tonight, and good luck in CSC Season 7. Oh, hello there, and welcome to the CSC Season 8 draft. My name is Fuffy. I'm joined by Legend and Eltemnik, and I'm excited for this one. I know you two are, you're both technically draft eligibles. You're ones who could be going to any team, anywhere at all. So, how are you guys feeling about tonight?
Well, I'm a little nervous. I'm kind of interested in see who my team will be. Which GM will waste a pick on me, but I guess we'll see. We'll find out who my new favorite franchise is going to be.
Ooh.
I'm feeling good. I'm excited to get into the games into the next season. Excited to see where I'm valued and where I land in the draft. But gotta wait a little while. I think I'm in the last draft league tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll be starting at Prospect and working our way up, Challenger, Elite, and then finally Premier. We'll be reading them off here. You can see that transaction announcement sort of little like bubble down there somewhere, if I can point properly, where things will be processed through as they happen. And yeah, we'll be beginning with Prospect, but first, I want everyone to meet the general managers. In previous drafts, we had them all talking, doing the draft live in that way, but you know, we want to have them all in their own little draft rooms doing their own little thing. So we've prepared a special little video as an introduction. So go ahead and enjoy this.
Hey guys, my name is Mechatronic. I am the general manager for the Automata. We have teams in Prospect, Challenger, and Elite. If you want to beat Spence, this is the team to join.
Hey guys, I'm Noodle, the GM of Upsetty Spaghetti. I want to welcome you guys to Season 8, and I hope that Upsetty Spaghetti brings you guys another season. I'll make you never forgetty Upsetty Spaghetti.
Hey, I'm Senki, GM of Big Slime. We're gonna slime the competition this season. Greatest franchise ever. Slime up.
Hey everyone, this is Spence. I'm the GM of the Order of the Samurai. You could thank Max for bugging me. I'm now walking to class and having to do this. But we have teams in all 4 tiers. And people like Mecha are trying to just beat us. That's their main goal, but they won't. And our main goal here is to win titles. So yeah, welcome to CSC.
Hey guys, my name is Gindet and I'm the general manager for the Kekai. We have teams in Premier, Elite, and Challenger, and I wish you all the best of luck in this upcoming season.
Hey, I'm the Supreme GM of the NA Needs. We have teams in all 4 tiers this season. Now, if you don't know why we're called the NA Needs, it's because I needed myself in double overtime of the Season 4 finals. But, to be fair, we did rally around that and end up winning, so...
Hi guys, my name's Hawkish. I'm the GM of the Aviary. We have teams in 3 tiers, the Eagles in Elite, the Falcons in Challenger, and the Hawks in Prospect. This is my first season as the GM in CSC. I cannot wait to get this season rolling. Bird up.
2, 1.
Hey, how's it going? Welcome to Season 8 of CSC. I'm Hermit. I'm the GM of the Savannah. I'd like to thank all of you for taking time over the past month out of your busy schedules to participate in our combines, and I wish you all the best of luck in the draft.
Too much. Not enough.
Hello, Counter-Strike Confederation. We represent Hacker Haven, a space for gamers to eliminate their competition by any means necessary. We have taken over the Dog Pound to send a message. To the Badmans, Core is ours. To the other franchises, we have agents across Premier and Elite ready to hunt you down. To the new draftees, welcome. And to all, you've been warned.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jeremy, or Germs PC. I am the general manager for the Gladiator franchise. My assistant general manager this season is Oma. We have 3 teams in Elite, Challenger, and Prospect. Our Elite team was able to make qualifiers for top 8 last season, and our Challenger team were the finalist run-ups. And yeah, I'm excited for another great season, and I hope to see everyone there.
Hello there. This is Dr. Freeman, the general manager of the Scientists. We have teams in Elite, Challenger, and Prospect named the Astronomers, the Chemists, and the Mathematicians. We're gonna dominate this season and can't wait for all the new and returning players this season to begin Season 7 of CSC.
Hello, and welcome to the CSC Draft. My name is Abear, and I'm the General Manager of the Headhunters Guild. Here at HG, we believe that vibes and team play brings championships. Good luck, have fun, see you around.
Hi, I am the GM of Yokai Cafe, aka Catgirl Cafe. You can call me Anexelia, NXL, Annex, Xena. There's honestly a lot of different ways to say it, and only a few of them are wrong. I'm probably best described as the resident shaky aimer and general nonsensical GM. Anyways, we are the Weeb franchise of CSC this season, hence the anime girl. I don't really like the face reveal like the other GMs are doing, but we hope to give everyone here a good time for this season of CSC.
Hey guys, I'm CMK. I'm the general manager for Galaxy. I've got teams in Challenger, Elite, and Premier, although to be honest, I threw my chances at a Challenger title so that Lindley could have Sad Cat and Fuffy, so there's that.
Looks like we can see all of our GMs now in their draft rooms getting ready. We see Mecha with the beer, Germs with the cigar. Everybody's chilling. And, well, I think it's now time. The draft will start, well, basically as soon as it's ready. And we're going to begin with Prospect as we get ready to go into this one. I'm just looking over at the draft board, and I can see that the NA Nades actually have the first overall pick. Then Yokai Cafe, then Order of the Samurai, and it keeps going down from there. Names in purple on the draft board means that they are keeper picks. The said team will be picking. We can go ahead and take a look there as we're just we're ready to get going with this one. I want to ask, actually, Legend, I want to ask you, because you have some prior experience with all this stuff. Would you say it's a better position to have a lot of keeper picks and be keeping over a franchise, or to take gambles on new players with early draft picks?
Well, it depends on the overall skill of the tier. If there are players who dominate every other part of the tier, like everybody in the tier, and you have an early pick, you want that player like every single time. It also kind of depends on what you have. If you have 5 players already on your team that you're probably going to keep, you don't want that early round pick. And it doesn't really matter where you are going to end up on the draft. But
it looks like we're ready to jump into this first one. And first
right.
overall, NA Nades select Carrie as their first pick in the draft. Anexelia, picking for Yokai Cafe, is going to select Mike. Now that they've got that locked in, the third overall pick goes to Order of the Samurai. And they pick up Spinch. An interesting one.
That Carrie went first overall. Somebody with the name of Carrie.
I mean, it's kind of fitting, honestly. And I've heard good things about Carrie. Mechatronic is holding on to Krilla as their keeper pick. And so we head over to the 5th pick, which is the Gladiators, who it looks like they are keeping. They're keeping Potatom, which I think is just a wonderful name, Potatom. All right. That means that 6th overall, the Scientists, they have their pick. And we'll see who they go with.
Who do you think they're going to pick here, Fuffy?
I honestly can't tell you for sure, because a lot of Prospect has sort of been, it's all up in the air given how the tiers have sort of shuffled. It looks like SCI, the Scientists, have put in their pick for Carry On, not the name Carrie. So it looks like both Carrie and Carry On have now been picked, given that Carry On has gone to the Scientists.
I'm waiting for My Wayward Son to be picked next. I'm sorry, that was bad.
That was bad. That was bad.
I'll see myself out.
SMH. All right. So, as they keep going, Hawkish is going to keep Chels Bells, who is definitely a strong player, given how well they did in the previous season, and of course now they're a first rounder. And that means that we loop around. It's a snake draft, and the scientists trading into this position have their pick. And Dr. Freeman, GM of the scientists, is going to select King Shot. Crone of the Opper is going to be kept for the Savannah, and so the next pick, the 11th overall pick, goes to Hawkish. As he's getting ready to select, we'll see who the Aviary takes. Time ticking down, 20 seconds left, and they will select Zulu as the 11th overall. And that means that pick 12 goes to the Gladiators. And so far, I'm enjoying how quick this is moving. I know past drafts have taken some time, but moving to text only makes things a little bit simpler.
GMs seem really prepared for these early rounds here. I wonder, as more players get picked, will we see some longer timers run down as people try to scramble through their draft board?
I mean, this timer is running down. We'll see. Germs has put his in as the timer runs down, and it will count just the last second. Aiden getting put in for the Gladiators. And so 13th now is Mechatronic, and his pick for the Automata, is going to be ANH, an interesting name, meaning that the 14th pick, Order of Samurai.
Try to pronounce
30 seconds are here.
Oh!
And 14th overall, Legend! Congratulations,
no.
Legend! And that means that, well, we go to the next one, and it's even more Order Samurai. They've traded into this pick, so 15th overall, they take Deathhawk Jr., meaning that we then have a keeper, Derpruce, being kept by the NA Nades, and so 17th pick belongs to the Aviary. As they look to select their player, we'll see who they end up going with on this one. 30-second timer up here for Hawkish. Just got to think about this one. This is where we get to the later picks, and this is where really the timer could start to come into play, given they've got to be pretty quick on these picks.
Yeah, I mean, they got to calculate MMR and also take a look at stats to see who the best player at that MMR is.
And honestly, even then, sometimes it's worth it to go for a quote-unquote cheaper in the MMR player in order to lock them in early with one of your earlier picks. Hawkish will take Yaga, Y-A-G-A, and so going 17th overall is Yaga, meaning pick 18 belongs to the Scientists, and they will be taking Kepler 16b. An interesting name for an interesting team of the Scientists. Now that they have been selected, it's time for Order Samurai.
Very fitting name. Go to the Scientist, Kepler 16b. My man drafted a whole planet.
It's very scientific, very scientific. Ooh. Okay, Samurai taking Lil General, which is a fun one. So then pick 20 is the Automata, and they're going to be taking Wooston for their squad. Dang, Mecha's going real fast. He got it in before the timer even started on that pick. So the Gladiators. Gladiators are up next. Wooston's a strong player. I've seen some interesting highlights from him. Gladiators, they're going to go with Mimsy. An interesting one, but a solid pick, meaning that pick 22 is a keeper, Mr. Professor, who had signed with the Aviary in the offseason, is going to be kept by them. And so Savannah have the 23rd overall pick. And quick again, JKM 164. Going to be locked in for the Savannah, meaning pick 24. Supreme will keep Apache on their squad. And so we go to another keeper, Jawa being kept by the Yokai Cafe. That's pick 25. So the 26th overall pick is the NA Nades. As we loop back around, that will be General Manager Supreme picking for their squad. the timer counts down, we're basically just about at the halfway point now that we're starting round 4 here of our 7 rounds of drafting. And see Columbus, or just Columbus, I'm not sure, gonna be the one joining the NA Nades. Congratulations on getting signed to your team there. And the scientists have the next one. I'm enjoying the speed of this, and we'll be able to look at either the whole draft board or transaction announcements or something else to see it all sort of in total. But this is looking nice.
Ooh, spicy pick coming out from Freeman.
Artizit, a player being locked in there for Freeman. Pick 27. Pick 28, he's going to keep Mental on his squad. And so now we go to pick 29, the Gladiators, led by Germs. He's still got 30 seconds on this clock as it counts down, considering who he wants to lock in. This is basically that center pick right there in the middle, and it's going to be Gator. Gator's an interesting one. I know had played in some past seasons and, I mean, showed some impressive stats. So we'll see how they're able to perform. Though Spence, he's wasting no time. Samurai pick 30. They take 4 score. NXLia's keeping Longtree for Yokai Cafe. Savannah is keeping Night Fury, actually the old GM of the Savannah, sticking with the team, still playing. Shout out Night Fury. And so we loop back around to the Gladiators, who are locking in T-Bone for the 33rd overall. Keep in mind, everyone gets drafted, and honestly, some of the latest draft picks are sometimes the surprise players. Often, it's less of people looking at those that they don't want, but instead just that they don't know about. So it's a bit more of a gamble, but sometimes these late round gambles really pay off. So we'll see. As pick 34, it's the Scientists.
Fun fact, Deadly in Season 6 was drafted last overall in Prospect and went on to be an All-Star and 2nd overall in stats.
Wow. Shout out Deadly and shout out EXZXPXZ. I'm assuming that's Easy Peasy, who is drafted to the Scientists. They're 34th overall, and 35th, well, it's Yokai Cafe. As the timer starts to count down, 20 seconds left. We'll see who they select. We can see Annexelia, the GM, is typing as we're all just doing this through a Discord chat. As they're getting ready to send this one in, I know they're there probably with Firehawk, who's sort of trying to lock in as their AGM, looking at all these picks, and they take Parkas. Parkas, I'm not sure, Parkas, but either way, they're joining the Yokai Cafe. Whether they're a weeb or not, always welcome at the Yokai Cafe. Order is Samurai. They have the 36th overall pick. And they take Shanley Jenkins, an interesting name, but a solid pick. Mechatronic is going to keep for his team the Automata Milos. And so 38th overall is the Gladiators, who pick Crash. Shout out Crash as the 39th pick. NA Nades keep Torque. Savannah will keep Twisted Agony. And the Aviary will keep Hawkish, which makes sense as Hawkish is the GM of Aviary. Meaning we loop back around to another fun keeper pick. NA Nades keeping Bottom Frag, and the Savannah will keep Brodog. Meaning, pick 44 overall, the first pick of the DEs here in round 6, goes to the Scientists. They're taking a little bit of time to think about this. Got to make sure they get the best player possible of all that are left. 15 seconds left as Dr. Freeman's getting ready to lock his in. 10 seconds. We're getting down to the wire. As it gets later, it is tougher to know of what players there are that are left. He's added in, it looks like Lil General.
The first GM to draft a player that was already taken.
Everybody take
Has that player been already taken? It doesn't actually look like it, though. I believe there's a similar name player.
He has been already taken, I believe, by Spence.
I remember Spence drafting Lil something. Then I think they are already taken. Either
Spence
way.
drafted Lil General.
Okay. I searched it up, I couldn't even find it. But either way, Freeman will take Desmond, meaning that Mechatronic for the Automata are keeping Walmart. And it is on to Spence's pick. But it looks like we are going back because a pick went over. We're zooming back. Okay, little hiccup. Gladiators. They have pick 45, and they are taking Heartworm. Heartworm? HRTWRM, an interesting name. Pick 46 is Automata keeping Walmart. Pick 47, Order of Samurai, will be taking Unfounded Newt. Meaning pick 48 is Yokai Cafe keeping Lines, and so pick 49, the Scientists. They've got their 30 seconds to select who they want to be joining this team. And they will be taking Desmond, it does look like.
He drafted a player that's already been drafted again, and yes, he drafted Desmond twice. So now Desmond is going to break a scientific law and play as two players at once.
I mean, quantum theory or something.
Yes. That one.
No players left on the sheets.
It looks like we've got to make sure. We've got to be checking something. As this could be every player being drafted. As, yeah, that pick. Oh, that's true. That was going to be pick 45, and that should be all of them. Or no. That was pick 44? Let me make sure I have this right. You know, counting is hard. Either way. Pick 50, and Aenaid's keeping Triple Man, which makes sense. Automata will keep Cosmos, and Gladiators will keep Akeljo. As we now head... as we now sort of look everyone getting drafted, we're making sure that everything is set properly. We can take a look at our draft board, which we can see is beginning to get itself filled in. We see all these names locked in. I wanna highlight first of all, first overall carry. They're a player that I've heard good things about. I've seen sort of as an active member of the community, and I just sort of wanna give that shout out of, in my opinion, that is the most important thing. You could be the best player in the world, but if you're just a cool guy and hanging out, or a cool gal and hanging out, like Carrie, you'll get picked up. I mean, it makes sense. Just you're gonna go earlier, just given off of vibes. I feel like a lot of GMs go off of vibes. One of the most classic vibe picks was when Mechatronic was drafted first overall, and then was like the worst player on his team. Shout out Mechatronic. Love you, man.
Okay, but
great GM.
He had tricks on his team. It wasn't like
yeah,
it's not like he was bad.
Yeah, the team did great. They won. He has a trophy by his name. It's just kind of funny.
True. You know
Actually
what? Being
played,
the worst player on a championship roster, I'll take that.
I actually played a pug with Carrie early on, right before Combine started. It was a really good time, good player. And it was a good vibe pick for sure.
Yeah, and honestly, that's one of the most important things. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up. Sorry, I'm very unprofessional. I just look over at my second monitor. Yes, I'm up these and look at the prospect stats overall. As we look, Mike, who was second overall drafted, had a 1.2 rating. So obviously they were fragging real strong. Spinch is another strong one with a 1.1. And more interestingly and more importantly, something that I think a lot of GMs should keep an eye out for is, thanks to our lovely stats committee, thanks to Yeti, we have these little roles by each of the player names, and Spinch is one who has the entry role, which I think is very important because it's a lot harder to be an impactful entry fragger than anything else.
I completely agree. Especially in, I don't know, I guess Prospect, it's kind of hard to find people who entry. A lot of the other roles I say are pretty easy comparatively. I mean, there's obviously still some hard roles, like IGLing can be pretty hard in Prospect. There's another one. I don't know. I can't remember, but I completely agree. Entry is one of the more important roles. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we need more support players out there. Shout out to support players.
Not everyone can throw like 400 flashes a game like Fuffy, though.
That's my specialty, is lots and lots of flashes. It makes up for the shots.
Hey,
anyway.
Listen, the enemy can't shoot you if they can't see either.
Everybody's blind. It doesn't matter.
All right, so with this draft board being filled in, or at least mostly filled in, I think we might throw to a very short break. But first, I want to actually throw to those GM cams again, just for a little bit. Get to enjoy all of them just chilling. Look at all these cuties. Look at them vibing there. Look at Mechatronic. Is he having ice cream? That's awesome. Oh, I can see him. He's nodding to the stream. Let's go. All right. Well, we're going to throw to a very short break. It should be 60 seconds, no more than that. And then we will be back to jump into the Challenger draft, which is definitely an exciting one, given I think Challenger is one of the most interesting teams given the new player distribution this season. Oh, hey,
Hello,
I
everyone.
didn't see you there. We now have names, but honestly, okay, Shade, your production's great. Sickbug, lovely, wonderful. But could you like make the names a little smaller and then like move them out like maybe on sort of the left so they come in the something cool like that. That'd be great. That'd be great. Oh, you made it all one text file. Okay, I see now how it is. Okay, you know what, Shade? What you should do is have it as you had it before, but add like the little background gray thing so that it matches more with the style. There's a setting in there where you can add like a background color. Cool. Anyways, it's Challenger time. Legend, you're going to take the main spot for Challenger so that it's not just me going, and the next pick is this, and the next pick is this, and the next pick, and you guys are just like, interesting.
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah, so you've passed that role on to me, I see.
Yep. You have to be the broken record and say it over and over again.
All right. Well, I think we're ready for Challenger.
Yeah, we've given the thumbs up.
I'm
Ready
excited.
whenever they're ready to get going.
We're starting off, first 4 picks are going to the Yokai Cafe, Big Slime, the Aviary, and the Gladiators. I'm excited to see who they pick. No keeper picks in the first 5 as well, so getting all new players. I don't know what Challenger looks like at all, but
I am excited to see what players go where. I'm interested to see Shade in there as a Challenger player. Shout out Shade doing our production.
see. I'm hoping Shade does well in Challenger.
I'm hoping Shade does well. I'm a big Shade fan personally. Though also
any Shade enjoyers?
Any Shade enjoyers in the chat? Any Stickbug enjoyers in the chat?
Any primers for Shade? It doesn't rhyme,
but also Shade, you should make the name smaller so it doesn't cover up the CSC logo. I love you, Shade.
Suffering from success, Shade.
Hopefully we've taken out all the bugs, the stick bugs, if you will.
Yeah, we're ironing out all the bugs. The stick bugs. And then also looking in Challenger. Okay, there's one player that I'm a big fan of that I'm excited for in Challenger. And it's because I played with him last season, and his name is Redondo. And he was like thinking about signing with a team, what he should do, because the franchise that he was on ended up not having a team in Challenger, meaning that it's entirely up to him wherever he wants to sign with. And he said, nah, I want to go through the draft. And I'm actually excited for that because I have no idea who will pick him and when. I think he's really good. Or maybe I should say I think he's really bad, then he'll go late. I don't know. But either way, I think he'll be one to look out for early round. There's a couple other players who are definitely strong on the fragging side, going to be taken in that first round. Though speaking of, not the fragging part, but speaking of first round, there's also Spence, going to be kept in the 6th round.
Coffee.
Shout out Spence. What's up?
The first overall pick, the Yokai Cafe Select Expo. Now it is Sinky of Big Slime up on the clock, ready to make their next pick.
Ooh, Expo, let's go.
IRQZ. I don't know if that's Mercs. I hope that's how it's pronounced. And
Expo
anyway,
has some cracked stats.
With Mercs being picked, we are moving on to Hawkish.
Expo does. Let's go, Expo.
I wonder who Hawkish is going to take here. Who does he have on his team currently?
Who does the Aviary have any keepers? They have Coil.
They have Redelict.
Coil,
Hawkish
yeah.
takes
So
Elder.
they've got some people. Ooh, Elder. All right.
That brings on Germs. Speaking of Redondo, going to pick 4 to the Gladiators here.
Okay, that's an
Immediately
exciting
afterwards,
one.
Matoka drafting for Abear, taking Dugan.
All right.
Spence is keeping Spence. Kind of a
Let's
throw
go,
pick,
Spence.
But yeah. Oh wait,
Shout
I
out
can't make
Spence.
fun of him. I can't make fun of him anymore. He drafted me.
That's true. He's your GM now. You have to be nice to him. All
That
of
is
us get to
true.
hate on Spence.
Anyway, going into pick 7, Dr. Freeman of the Scientists selects N1. Newest scientist member. A single nitrogen atom. Nitrogen is N on the periodic table, right? I didn't just get that wrong. Okay. I'll
What do
believe
you
it.
think I am, a scientist? But
Oh, true. You're a hacker instead. Anyway, Gate Supreme's going to be keeping Drex code, and now it is on to Lum of ATO picking for Mechatronic here, as the clock is ticking down. 15 seconds left to pick, and he's typing it in. Clay Buckets going to ATO.
Ooh. All right. Welcome to the Automata family. In my opinion, they have one of the best logos, if not the best. Designed by a professional, looks pretty darn sick. So, not a bad place to go to.
Completely agree. After that pick, we got 2 keeper picks coming in here from the Savannah and the Hawks, respectively. Nifferson Red going to their respective franchises. Make that a 3rd keeper pick for the Galaxy, keeping in Visions. Oh, make that a 4th keeper pick for the Galaxy, again, keeping Chasing Turtles. And they just keep coming. Another keeper pick, Raygun, this time going to Big Slime. Finally, Hermit gets to pick somebody not on his franchise, and it's going to be Undercover.
That's a cool name.
Going to the Savannah. Lum being kept by Mechatronic, who, fun fact, just made the last pick for the Automata. Now,
Lum's
Mr.
the one
Germs on the
taking
clock,
the spot of
taking-
drafting for this tier, which is neat. The
Mr.
GMs have
Roll
reps in for them to do picks.
See, I see.
Roly Coly Poly Oly.
Roly Coly Poly Oly. What a name. I think
standout name.
no matter where he goes in the draft, he's a first round, first overall in names in the tier.
That's true.
By the way, for anyone watching thinking this is beer, it's root beer, so don't worry. I'm not going to chug it like last time. Anyway.
Yeah, Mecha
Yeah.
did seem to be drinking actual beer, which good for him. I heard
everyone's able
that
to-
he's even better at drafting inebriated because that way he has less likelihood to mess up his own picks.
Very true, very true. I kind of thought he would be if he was drafting, it would seem like he'd be very drunk, but I'm just kidding. Anyway, with pick 18, Dr. Freeman selects Babs. Going into make that 4 keeper picks here. NAN, HG, AVI, OS, and UPS. Keeping that's a ton of keeper picks.
Oh my god,
actually.
for Nan.
6 in a row.
That is
my
a
God.
lot. I wonder who's gonna actually. Alright, it is actually Yokai Cafe picking next, and he's taking Man Rocket. I think
That
the
is an interesting
second
name.
overall pick in terms of names, in my opinion.
Is that a rocket that's a man or a man that's a rocket?
You just happy to
What's the
see
difference?
me? Anyway, skipping over 2 keeper picks, ATO, picking up Donnie 34 for the Automata. And A-Bear is keeping Nightbear immediately afterwards.
Hey, the Bears got to stick together, you know?
That is true. Anyway, timer starts. Lum is on the clock again, picking for ATO. 25 seconds left, and
Maybe
like
this is
more
where
clock's
the
gonna be-
timer starts going down. So far, I haven't seen a pick missed. There was one that went right down to the wire and was counted.
Are we gonna have a perfect draft? Frenzy going to the Automata. I know he played last season in the Challenger tier.
A lot of keeper
Alright.
picks in these first couple rounds here. It's a really strong league.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah.
of people stand for Chally.
A lot of the GMs already have established teams in Challengers, so it just makes sense. I mean, certain people like Bronzy and Nightberry being moved up from Prospect from the previous season, and then also people going down from Premier. I know Raygun was from Elite. My bad.
Mm-hmm.
Raygun was in the Premier ahead of everyone else. So
All right. Ferdilance for GLD.
Yep, pick 32. Going into a few more keeper picks here. Pick 33, Mechatronics keeping Dub V. Savannah keeping Pink Harmonica. UPS is keeping Deadly and Beardo. And that will conclude round 3.
Deadly Beardo combo. I know they played together in Prospect. An interesting. I'm not sure if I would even call it a gamble from Upsetty Spaghetti, but just an interesting move to sign them in Challenger and try to sort of keep those two together.
Hardly a gamble at all. Deadly, like I said, was an all-star despite being picked last overall. And Beardo as well, I think was a very underrated player in Prospect the season before this one. Anyway, CMK next on the clock, pick 37. Timer's up. He might get a random player here. He's not typing in chat or anything. He's gonna. Let's see who he gets in the draft.
We'll see. Now that it's up, that pick is going to essentially jump over towards the end of the round as we keep going through the picks. Hopefully they're still around. They just seem to have missed that one.
Yep. With pick 38, the pick immediately after, Sinky selects Ando for the Big Slime. Any primers for Big Slimers? Chat. And looking ahead on the draft board, we're not going to have a keeper pick until pick 44, where Laughing stays to the Headhunters Guild. Shout out to Indian CS Last Hope. And with pick 39, the Savannah will select Binu. Bianu, maybe. Bianu Reeves.
Binu Reeves.
Binu Reeves. Segueing into pick 40, Lum picking for the Automata again. Doesn't seem like the Automata has a lot of players. They're drafting from scratch here, unlike the other GMs who have a lot of keeper picks early. The timer's ticking down. They attempted to draft
it looks like Lum went with a
altogether
player who was promoted, so they've got to pick a different one.
We've seen it all. We've seen somebody who was already drafted, somebody who was drafted to the same team, and now somebody who's not even in the right tier.
GMs, they have a checklist of all the players. And as they check them down, each one as they're either drafted or just there as keeper picks.
Do we get the pitchforks out? Does anyone in the chat have a angry at the CSC Badman's pitchfork copy pasta?
Oh, shout out Night Fury for being the one I know who would share that.
Surely he didn't create it.
Maybe so.
I feel like that's been around since season 1. Anyway, going into pick 40, Exit Wounds going to the Automata. That leads us into pick 41, Germs PC drafting for the Gladiators. They take Whale Valanche.
Whale Avalanche?
A whale avalanche.
If I remember correctly, they were just destroying Prospect and got moved up during those combines.
Yeah, I saw that on the stats. They had a pretty high rating all throughout, and I would have been surprised if they stayed in Prospect as well, because they really popped off. With pick 42, Dr. Freeman selects Crispy.
Let's go, Crispy.
Another good player. Been around since season 5 as a perma-FA.
That would make sense. I feel like I remember him from back then, but I don't know if I remember them playing. Season 5, best season, by the way.
Season 1 is the OG season. If you know, you know.
Okay, boomer.
Where you play with where level 1s played with level 10s. Anyway, with pick 43, Germs is going to select Gangsta. Kind of a gangsta pick. We move on to the keeper picks now. Like I said before, pick 44, Headhunters Guild's going to be keeping Laughing, and immediately after, the Nades are going to be keeping King Willie. Now, Yokai Cafe, Anaxilia is selecting a new player to add to their franchise.
Annex is a new GM. And new GMs, I don't know, I feel like it's always polarizing, but they sort of have a drive because they've really got to get drafting to have everything together. And I mean, sometimes they can find some real diamonds in the rough, and sometimes new GMs almost come out on top of established ones, but we'll have to see.
I mean, it remains to be seen if new GMs are going to be willing to step up to the old ones. But anyway, with pick 46, Anaxilia is going to be bringing Billy Bob into the Yokai Cafe. Now Spence with pick 47 keeping Icarus. And I believe... Oh, nope, we're still going. Yokai Cafe. Anaxilia is going to be kept with pick 48, and with the Gladiators keep Canadian Comrade with pick 49. I believe we are going back to pick 37, which was skipped. and CMK is going to be on the clock now. Presumably getting an auto-drafted player because he's offline. Oh,
Unfortunately.
he's on his phone. Maybe not.
Maybe not, no?
This is
Oh, he's on his phone. He's definitely probably getting auto-drafted, though.
and this is looped back to pick 37 that was missed at the beginning of this round.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully we're able to get him in, even just on his phone. I know some auto picks, even though it was unfortunate, I believe last season it was the Gladiators who had an auto pick that had to go through. They got a very solid player still.
CMK getting AJ Dwayne at 37, a former teammate of mine, and honestly kind of an underrated player. AJ Dwayne, the only problem is you can't pair him up with Lomtree, the dynamic duo since season 1.
Ooh.
But yeah, anyway, in season 7, I believe it was Natural Disasters that got an auto-drafted pick, and it was King Willie who was auto-drafted, and they ended up going to finals. Not the Natural Disasters, but King Willie did.
Yeah. Which was unfortunate. King Willie couldn't fit in their overall plan.
Yeah.
But still, nice to see that even if you're auto-drafted, you can find a home no matter what happens in the draft. If you're a good player and you put in some work, you should be able to find a home. And if not, even just be a sub for a season. Have fun. You get to try out all the different teams.
Nothing wrong with being a sub. Anyway, going into round 5, Anaxilia is going to start off with pick 50, keeping Shade, our lovely producer here.
Woo!
Following that, pick 51, Hawkish is going to be taking XXXCU. I remember seeing one of his clips in the highlights channel, actually, before the draft, and it's a pretty nice clip. Immediately afterwards, Oh no!
Ignore. Wait.
Spaghetti.
Wait, what has happened to Dives? Why is he
Anyway,
spaghetti?
pick 52,
Okay, we have to get back
Sinky.
into the picks. Don't get
Pick
distracted by
52,
the
Sinky
spaghetti.
is going to be taking Viz. Now that is leading into a few keeper picks here. Pick 53, 54, and 55, all of them. Scout going to HG, Mega Talacair going to UPS, and Scientist keeping Mr. Miter all at once.
Good keeper picks.
Yep. I believe we have 6 players. Oh, make that 5 players left in the draft. How many players are left? Do any of you have access to the checklist that GMs have?
I am able to take a look at it.
Give us an in as to how many players are left, and subtract it by
GM
1 because
has-
Voodoo is going to the Automata.
Our GM has switched to an eggplant. He's no longer spaghetti.
And then he
I
turned
love
into
that
an
we just made
eggplant.
this GM
The
video
funniest shit
room, and
I've
now
ever seen. Anyway, next 2 picks after Voodoo going to the Automata. Hawkish is keeping YP, and Big Slime Sinky is keeping Kika. Now CMK is on the clock. He was given an auto draft with the last pick, but remains to be seen if he'll come back and select a player here, or if it will be auto drafted again at the end of the round.
we'll have to see. I'm not sure what's happening with them. I believe it's just unfortunate internet errors. But Seven Brody, Pork Lady, Voice, all look to be left, though I'm not sure if Voice is a keeper or not.
I see.
I don't see him on the board immediately. There.
Seshiro as well.
Who of these players left do you think is underrated? Because I know that 4 of them have played this season before.
I know
and I can
Seven
tell you
Brody's got to
about
be
those.
solid, but I don't know enough
Yeah.
about them.
I know Seven Brody was pretty solid in preseason during season 7. Then Voice, I remember, has played since season, I'm going to say 6.
I've known Voice, and I've never known where to put them because I feel like they've been very up and down. Though sometimes that just means they need to find the right home. Inconsistency could
true.
mean that sometimes the rest of the team's struggling and making them struggle. So we'll see.
Anyway, pick 60, CMK will get auto-drafted Saishiro. I hope I pronounced that
Alright.
correctly. I almost said Shusho for a second there. And that will end off round 5. Coming into round 6, Supreme's going to be keeping Grigorovich, T-Noodle keeping Digital. The Savannah are going to be keeping T-Doggins, and Supreme is keeping himself.
Shout out Supreme. He's
Yep.
being kept. If your friends
a few
close,
more-
enemies closer, and yourself in the draft.
Anyway, 3 more keeper picks coming in here. Gladiator's going to keep Oma. Scientists are going to keep M. Bastos 97, and the Order of the Samurai are keeping Beanogs. Another great player. A little inconsistent at times, but when he's on, he is on. I think he could perform really well in Challenger. Anyway, Hermit picking now pick 67 for the Savannah. They're going to be taking Voice.
Voice is
I
solid.
believe-
Voice, I know, had played for the Savannah in the past, but I believe their contract ran out.
I believe he even played with Hermit before.
Yeah. Which is solid. And that means that Hermit and Savannah, they get to keep Voice on that team, which I think is good, honestly, to keep players over time. In order to essentially have a core that can grow together is very important. I know even just me getting to play with a couple of players over time it's just that chemistry, you know?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but according to my calculations here, we are currently on pick 68, and there are 2 players left to pick. You know what
So
that
one
means?
of them gets to be pick 69?
One of them gets to be pick 69. And it is going to be somebody... Yeah, and they're going to be Mr. Irrelevant of the Challenger draft, too. On a pog, if you ask me.
One way to
I
go out.
mean, pick 69 is nice.
It is a pretty nice pick. Anyway, CMK is going to be getting the honors of Mr. Irrelevant because he's getting auto-drafted again. Meanwhile, we're on pick 68. Sinky on the board.
Yeah, Big Slime represent.
Any primers? Wait, I said that already. Now, Sinky is going to be selecting Pork Lady 46. Meaning 7 Brody, congratulations, is Mr. Irrelevant and pick 69 going to the Galaxy. Excited
Wow.
to see what
We'll
the
see what they
future
can
has
get.
in store for these Challenger players. And I believe that's the end of the draft in Challenger.
I believe so, though it'll obviously take some time as the draft board gets updated. I can see it up to what looks like pick 67.
Got a
Yep.
update to pick 57 is going to switch over to 7 Brody.
Oh, no way. Is there not going to be a pick 69? We missed it
Looks
by
like
1?
We're closing out at pick 68 there.
Oh, a
Oh, no.
tragedy. A true tragedy.
Looks like we had an undraftable player get drafted there. So
There's
that
always
pick
some
will be
errors, but
changed
this
to-
is honestly the smoothest draft that's ever happened, which is
Yeah, so
awesome.
Only
that
a
pick will
few
be changed
mistakes
over.
at the end, but
You know, the late rounds get messy. The draft boards, you know, your picks start to disappear.
yeah. Start to wonder who's left, and then really it just boils down to Badman error.
I make a lot of those. Don't worry. No.
True.
Nah.
Get the OG
Out here
admins
working
back
hard.
in here. Oh wait, we already have Splat Monkey. We have the OG admins.
Yeah, got to do a shout out. Shout out to Splat. Shout out
Rax
shout
was
out
an
to
OG admin.
Scraps as well. They're making this one get rolling. I know a lot of work also being put in by both T-Noodle and Spence, though they're GMs themselves, so they've been focusing on their teams, not the draft. And then of course I've been working both helping out the stream and making sure our draft system is all set. Though actually one more shout out. Shout out Dives for making the bot that can count to 30 seconds. Which helps us get these 30-second picks and helps it keep rolling smoothly. CSC Core, our new bot database website, all in one basically that Tech Committee has been working on. It's been awesome. so far, and I'm excited for even more of this.
I am too. I'm excited to head into the Elite Draft, which we will get into after a quick break.
Wow, I believe, yeah. Sorry. Break. Wait, Steak Bug.
Stick bug.
By the end of the draft, I will be wearing nothing, and we will be banned from Twitch. We have Mechatronic and Supreme, 2 GMs, to join us in and just shoot the stuff and hang out. So, how's it
I
going?
have a correction to make first. I would like to correct the record. I'd like to set the record straight. Apparently, my 6th round pick, I believe in my 6th round pick, my 5th round pick in Challenger was apparently an invalid pick. We have since fixed such a thing, and I now have Pork Lady. Just
Let's go.
setting the record straight.
All right.
Also, hi Freeman. I see you, Freeman.
Now that Mech is here, and now that I'm on OS, I'm legally obligated to say, "Fuck you, Mecha. You have the worst franchise. OS better."
You know what? That's understandable. I feel like that's you know what?
I'd
Here's
like
the
to
thing.
reply to that. I'd like to reply to that because OS is objectively the worst franchise in the league.
See,
Hey,
Supreme gets it.
who did they beat in
No, it doesn't
prospect
matter.
finals?
Yeah,
last season?
because they kept 4 out of their 5 players, 3 of which were all stars. Because numbers did a great job.
Drinking that
Fantastic
copium.
job.
Spence is here. Spence is here.
Now he's gone.
And he's gone.
Rest in
Spence
peace,
just gets
Spence.
to show up for a sec. This is great. I like how we can just cut between this and the cams of all the GMs, and then we get to see Mecha and Supreme just chilling. Although Supreme's is just a picture, which works.
It's Supreme Leader, bro. A relevant picture, though.
All right, let's talk. Supreme, do you want to talk about the elephant in the room?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this was the most boring tier draft. Actually, throughout this entire draft, this is the most boring draft I've ever done. Because out of all 4 tiers, I have 8 picks. One of which was my first overall pick in Prospect, which we knew like 4 days ago. 3 of them are premier picks after the 5th round. So Elite is literally the only one where I actually have picks.
That you have to think about.
That I have to think about, and I have my Elite captain who's up at like 4 a.m. right now in Europe or something, doing it for me.
Oh my god! So you have like
and-
the simplest pick.
Yes, next season is going to be a headache because I have 12 challenger picks in the first 5 rounds
That's
somehow.
some players' forehead.
And
I mean-
I had 9 trades this season. I was trying to get to double digits. I couldn't do it, but I was close.
That's impressive.
How many of those trades were with me?
2.
That's it. It's surprising.
Wow.
That's surprisingly low and also surprisingly high.
Yeah, I had 2 with you. I had 1 with Big Slime. I had 1 with Gindet. I had a big one with Hawk. I had 1 with Sinky. I had 1 with Annex, 1 with Germs. And 1 with Gindet, I think. Yeah.
You already said one with Gindet.
Did I say 1 with Gindet? Did I miss
Supreme
1?
making moves.
Yeah,
Gonna-
yeah. I have, yeah.
You're
a
gonna
lot of
literally draft the entire tier next season.
No, that's what I've
We
been
can't
saying.
lose. We can't lose if you have all the players.
You
That's what I've been
definitely
saying.
can lose.
He's
You're
just gonna have every player. He's gonna have to cut
first
everyone.
preseason's
No other
gonna
team-
end, and you're gonna have like 7 cuts.
Yeah,
That's
but
the
if
way.
you cut the
Preseason's-
players, if you cut the players, then they're devastated and they
Nah,
won't
you
want to
just
play against
trade
Man.
trade for more picks, bro.
Teams
Exactly,
won't have
people
enough
more-
players per preseason. If
Exactly.
Supreme's gonna have to play himself in preseason just so we have enough preseason games.
As a former GM, and I'm sure that many GMs in here will attest to this, cutting players is the worst part of GMing.
It's
Ever.
literally the worst.
That is
literally
true.
the worst part. Maybe I should
It
make
is.
my
Unless the
in-game
player is legend, in which that case is really easy. You
Yeah,
just tell
fuck
us say he's bad. and
Okay,
it's
for
all
your
good.
information, I've only been cut twice in my CSC career. If you don't count
Twice?
the time I left the Discord, yeah.
Oh man,
And this is my
that's
first
rough.
time
Yeah,
being
but what
drafted
wasn't-
ever.
So
Wasn't
you
the time you wasn't one of the times you got cut right off a championship winning team?
Yes.
No, it's a,
It was that team that you were drafted on.
All right, it looks
Team
like we're
where I was-
ready to go into the next one.
4th best player. Let it
I
be
actually
known.
need to pay attention for this draft.
So yeah, you
Oh
guys
my
gotta pay. You guys gotta get out of
No,
here. You guys
I don't.
gotta go
I don't
do
have
your
a.
draft.
I don't have any more teams.
Go
I'm
back
Okay,
on the
that's
streets.
true. I guess you could
Okay, that's
technically be in here.
But I
so-
I'm done. I'm
All
just
right.
gonna. I'm gonna.
Rick
I'm
is
gonna.
pick Mechatronic out anyway.
Oh no, you're game too. I'm just shitting everyone's picks.
I'm helping you draft, Mecca.
Yeah, I'll
Oh
help you,
my
Jess.
gosh. All right, it's time for the draft.
We have
It's
Elite
time for
round
Elite.
1.
Woo!
First pick overall goes to Big Slime here. Sinky gonna give us our pick coming in. And the first overall pick of the Elite draft for Big Slime will be Dactor.
Ooh. Factor's
Solid
a
player.
strong player and a strong lurker, actually.
Second pick,
exciting.
the Order of the Samurai, Spence. Typing in the pick right now.
All right,
This has
Spence,
gotten
who you
pretty
going with?
lucky with all of his picks.
Spence is going to take Calhoun as the second overall pick in the Elite Draft. Gladiators
Mhm.
having a keeper pick here in the third pick. Going to keep Fabric. With Upsetty Spaghetti being our next team. Going to pick Libs. Fourth
Ooh,
overall.
all right.
NA Nades. They also have a keeper pick here in the first round.
I guess
They're
you
gonna
could
keep
say
Sleepy.
UPS is owning the libs.
Oh my god. All right, to distract us from that pun, let's do the
my
other.
If I'm not mistaken, Galaxy here at the sixth pick overall, but I'm not sure how they're going to do this one. I believe CMK is currently at work. We're going to skip this pick. He'll take the highest MMR player available at the end of the round.
Yeah.
So Galaxy going to take those late picks. It's going to be a little tough for them.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's a tough spot to be in, though, because all teams are forced to cut players during the preseason. There's going to be a lot of solid pieces sort of moving around and shifting around as often. You just have to find the right team, the right fit. And so that's the best teams often don't have all of their pieces until the preseason ends. Looking at Woodwind Gang, they reached the finals in Season 5, and they completely restructured their team at the beginning.
Yeah. And it's also not about just the big stat number next to players' names in the combine stats. It's also about their role. You have 5 oppers on a team. You're not like it doesn't matter how good they are. You're not going to win anything.
Strongest
There's gonna be
CT
a
side
role
ever
mismatch.
seen, man. What do you mean?
Oh yeah.
Strongest CT side. Just get all 15.
They're not moving an inch on CT side, but they're also not leaving their spawn on T side.
Pick 7 from Yokai Cafe. Nexilia is going to pick up Melon.
That's a fun name.
Hacker Haven, going to have a keeper pick here. Going to keep Drawed with pick 8. And then Order of the Samurai coming in, traded up to pick 9. Vince going to drop our pick here soon. Running out of time, 10 seconds left.
All right. Oh, Spence is typing. It's getting close. Ooh.
Then Spence going to take Order of the Samurai. Pick number 9 is Vidakin.
Ooh. Waited right till the end, but he got it in before time.
Good buzzer beater.
Ooh.
The RTL died.
All right, I don't know what's happening. Someone's saying the
There
RTL
seems to be
died,
a-
which is the rolling tier list. Okay, it's back. It works. Something
Alright.
happened to the sheet, but it works now. This is why we're trying to use less sheets.
Pick 10, the Kekai. They select 1 Bullseye
Ooh,
with the 10th
it's
overall pick.
exciting.
The 11th and the 12th pick here are going to be keeper picks. The Scientist going to keep M. Bowers. With the Aviary going to keep Triton. So we move back down to pick number 13. I'm sorry, pick 6 from the Galaxy comes back as after it was skipped. Sullivan is picked up by the Galaxy.
All right. I'm going to be rooting for this team because they have to have so many automatic picks. Obviously, real life comes before being a CSC general manager. It's unfortunate, but that's how it is.
Yes.
I'm hoping they can turn it around.
Drafting.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough break for him for sure. The Order of the Samurai with pick 13, they select Klutz.
Now,
The
fun
Scientist.
fact about CMK's team. Sorry to cut you off.
No,
is
you're
that they did not do any scouting before combines and consistently put out like playoff tier teams. Old franchise.
Sometimes the stats don't lie, man. Pick 14 with the Scientist, they're going to select Tej. Pick 15, 16, 17 are all keeper picks. The Kekai are going to keep Drummer Boy. Headhunters Guild keep A-Bear. And Hacker Haven keep Pro. Pick 18 goes to Yokai Cafe. And
I
they're
love
going to
this
pick
name.
up Graham Crackers with pick number 16.
Let's go, Graham Crackers. Best
We have
snack.
quite a few keeper picks here in the second round here. Headhunters
Wow,
Guild.
you are right.
They're gonna keep Direction JK. NA Nades, they're gonna keep Bez. Aviary is gonna keep K Salty. Gladiators keep Brontos. Upsetty Spaghetti keeping Phenomenal. And then Big Slime, Thinky keeping Sinky. That makes sense. That's the end of round 2. We loop back in round 3 here with NA Nades picking up Primes.
Ooh.
And then pick 26 goes to the Kekai. They're going to pick up Soulsy. Pick 27, the Gladiators, keeping Germs PC. Then the Aviary with pick 28. Going to pick up Indaza.
Ooh. That's a good one. I played with Endaza last season. He's very, very solid.
And then NA Nades trying to jump the gun on the timer there.
They put it before the pick even came up.
I'll start. One more and you're disqualified from the race.
Pick 29 for the NA Nades is going to be Janaea. Pick 30, the Galaxy. We're going to skip this one here. We're going to wait out this 30-second timer, and then we're going to move on to pick 31.
Yep. It's unfortunate to have to wait out these timers, but you know,
You never
it'll
know when
happen.
it'll come
I
back.
still, again, it'll make me root for them to see if they can turn it around moving forwards.
Yeah,
Given that they essentially have to start with a ragtag group of people, who knows? That being
No, a
said,
lot
I mean, really every pick is a gamble. You're trying to get someone that you know, but really there's no known quantities until you get them on the server and playing in the specific team.
We move on to the Order of the Samurais. Pick 31 picks up Hovd. H-O-V-N-D. Hovnd. Not sure on that one.
A good player, Hound, I believe is how it's said. Hound actually
ah.
subbed for Order of Samurai last season, both in a game against us and played with us last season as well, back in Challenger. He was a really, really good sub, so I think he'll be a really solid pick.
See. Like there's a little bit of a pause here in the time.
Getting some verification if a player is a permanent free agent or draft eligible here.
Yep. It's important to be able to clarify. And honestly, like a little clarification showdown. We're still moving swiftly. It's been an hour since we started? This draft will not go for 3 hours, which I'm kind of hyped for.
Thankfully. Last time it was fun, but man, my phone almost died.
Yeah,
How long it was.
your webcam phone.
Yeah. Because whenever I tried using a webcam on my PC, like the webcam shorted and it caused my hard drive to soft short as well.
Oh no.
Yeah. Fun fact, that's also why my computer's out now. I have to get my PSU replaced.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's a cold world, man.
Unfortunate.
Here at Yokai Cafe, they're going to pick up Waka.
Waka, 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 waka.
Waka Flocka?
32nd pick. 33 is going to be Headhunters Guild, keeping Mikey Z. 34, we have the Kekai picking Juve. And then we also have the Kekai on 35. Looking through the draft board, trying to decide who they want to keep picking.
It's tough to have those back-to-back picks because you're so ready for your pick, and then you breathe a sigh of relief, and then boom, another one.
They're going to pick up Yamson with the pick 35. And pick 36 going to the Big Slime. Timer's starting to run off a little bit longer here as we continue on through the draft.
Yeah.
Big Slime's going to pick up Recursive with the 36th overall pick.
There's no real way to plan for the late parts of the draft like this, because you never know who will be around. So a lot of it is sort of adapting as best as you can, which means you got to make the most of that time that you have and Just be sure you get it in within 30 seconds.
We loop back to Galaxy's pick, as we mentioned before. They are being auto-drafted for, and they're going to pick up Fiction with their, technically, 30th overall pick. So we start
Fiction
round
actually played
4
last
here.
season, so we do have some data on him. Played for the
Alright.
Automata, I believe.
Yeah, I know. Some teams are actually, or some franchises have less teams in these different tiers, and so their players got released back into the draft, into the wild, to be re-signed to new teams.
Yep. Happened to my old team. The Headhunters Guild Assassins are no more.
There's a lot of movement in the leagues this off season here, right at the end. Big Slime taking pick 37. They're going to pick up Roberto. Pick 38, the Scientist. They're going to keep RSS. And 39 goes to the Order of the Samurai. Like I said, people getting deep into their draft boards here. Hoping to make the
use
right
of the
pick
time.
late game.
Yeah, these late game picks, sometimes, honestly, if you know a player doesn't work out for you, like you know of a player, you know they're fine, but you don't think they'll fit due to MMR or the role that they play, it's sometimes better to just go with someone entirely random once you get towards especially the very last picks in the draft. It can be beneficial to just say screw it and go for it.
Yeah.
Pick 39 from Order of the Samurai, it's going to be Kubo Star.
Ooh.
And then pick 40 for the Headhunters Guild is going to be Matoaka. Matoka?
They're
Matoka?
taking CNK Revenge. It's a Matoka who's selecting it.
My
Who's
apologies.
filling in to be drafting for the Headhunters Guild.
Taking CNK Revenge there. My apologies.
Dives is keeping Sad Cat. Let's go, Sad Cat! I love you, Sad Cat!
Next, they're
Anyways,
keeping Ready. And then we have another Galaxy pick here in the middle. Gonna get
it's a
pushed
30-second
to the
breather.
end.
I don't know about you
Fortunately,
guys, but if I was a GM, my draft strategy for the later rounds would be best name.
So if players like
Fortunately-
Butterdog were still around,
Yeah.
or those kind of ones, you know.
Fun fact, in an unnamed Valorant league, there's a player named Glizzy Gulper.
It's a good name.
This is a solid name.
It's a very fun name to say.
As we skip up to pick 44, Big Slime gonna pick up Gaming Monster.
Speaking of good names,
Quality name. Fortunately for Galaxy here, even though they're getting auto-picked, a lot of these last 3 rounds, there's a lot of keepers. So they have the potential not to, or maybe not drop 2 out of their favor.
Yeah, it's a lot of keepers. Deluxe for Upsetty, Rabbit Gladiators, TJOS, Luke for Nan, Scrunch for AVI, and CMK. Of course, sticking with the Galaxy, as he's the GM.
Monster's career turns out. Pretty big name to live up to, but it would be sick to see him pop off.
That would be
The name
cool.
of Gaming
Pick 50
Monster.
for the NA Nades. Pick 50 is going to be Paternal.
All
Pick
right.
51 is another keeper. UPS keeps John. Pick 52 for the Gladiators. They're going to pick up T-Dog. Pick 53 is a keeper. Hawk's just keeping Saber. Then pick 54 for Big Slime. They're going to pick up Claymore. And then we're back onto a Galaxy pick here. We're going to wait out this timer to skip ahead. And pick 55, like I said, skip here.
We just wait this one out. At the bottom of Elite is going to be a lot of keepers for sort of the stronger players from Challenger. And a lot that, in my opinion, are just really like safe picks to have. Sad Cat we saw kept in round 4. Slow being kept by the Headhunters Guild. I'm not sure if that one's already gone through or it's about to come up. near the bottom, the very last round as well. There's a lot of very, very solid players that are just going to be kept through this one, which I think is awesome. That the foundation of these teams are there, just from the start.
Yeah.
We're gonna have
more on Slow. He plays for my ESEA team, or at least when my computer wasn't broken, and he was actually carrying a few games there. I think he's a very underrated player in Elite. And also looking at the list,
Yeah, Germs.
Hollow can be really good too.
Germs is putting in his pick, and they're making sure it's the right one, based on spelling and all that.
Pick 52 was originally
T-Dog, but it
T-Dog,
looks like he's
seems
not
as they're
playing.
Not playing this season. We're gonna.
Yep.
52 will now be Viper King. Pick 52 for the Gladiators is Viper King. So we move up back to pick number 56 after we skip Galaxy there. Yokai Cafe on the clock. They're gonna pick up Punkville.
All right.
We have, again, like I said, a lot of these late round picks are going to be keepers. Hacker Haven keeping Swerve. Hunters Guild going to keep Slow. What are the Samurai going to keep Mr. Phalology, sorry. The Scientist going to keep Dr. Freeman. Germs picking out Serenity for pick number 61.
That's a clean name. That's a cool sounding name, you know?
I agree. It's serene name, if you will.
Yeah, you know.
I need to stop.
We brought you on specifically for puns. Don't worry. That is
Great.
your job here on the desk.
Dog
The end of
pick
round
coming
5
in.
closes
Wait,
out with
isn't he
Galaxy's
Premier?
pick of Danny GLs.
All right.
Or Dan IGLs, maybe. Who knows?
I know he's Danny, but it's also an IGL pun. But I don't even know if he calls right now or if he's just focusing on fragging.
Maybe it means Danny Good Lucks.
Maybe.
Good luck, have fun. Got a bunch of keeper picks here to start off round 6 with UPS keeping Malolo, Scientist keeping Splat Monkey, Kekai keeping Zyra Reflex, and Headhunters Guild keeping Stumpy. Hacker Haven keeping Dibes. It moves into pick 67. Looks like we don't have any more in the checklist. That might be the end here.
We have a few keeper picks, though.
Yes, towards
Yeah, a
the
few
end.
keeper picks after this that I believe will still be honored, given that. Or no. Now that we've gone. Yeah, we have a couple more keeper picks. But it looks like, yeah, all they are keeper picks. So just these last 3 coming through.
We got Big Slime keeping Zeph, the Aviary keeping Assassin, and then the Gladiators keeping chat favorite Manifest.
Woo! Shout out Manifest, the mod. Helping keep our chat safe. Helping oppress everyone. I mean, monitor everything properly.
There is no
got a lot of
admin
woos.
abuse. Manifest. Shout out to
Looks like the
Indian
draft
CS
board might
last
need
hope.
refreshed again, given it's taken a sec for everything to sink in, to load in, but once we
Manifest
are
pod pick.
now that we're here, there it is. Elite Draft. We can see all of the picks as they've gone through. Shout out Manifest, even though he was the last overall, technically as a keeper. Definitely a fan favorite. I think this is an interesting one. Overall, I'm really interested in Dactor going first overall, but I do think that Dactor is a very, very solid player. And a known quantity as well, given that they were a permanent free agent last season and a very good substitute to have. I even had to play against him, which is obviously always a tough thing to have to do.
Really agree. I remember even during season 7 combines when I was a GM scouting for teams, I saw Dactor play. I'm like, I need this guy on my team no matter what. And unfortunately, he ended up MFAing that season, but he's still a cracked player regardless, and I'm not surprised to see him go number 1.
All right. I don't even think we have a break. It depends if we're taking a moment before we jump into the premier draft, or if not, maybe we just do stick bug for like 5 seconds. I don't know. whatever the plan is, we're just chilling. We're just vibing, you know? Vibers in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat. All right. It looks like Supreme wants to jump in for a sec to just say hey. We can ask him how this round went.
You can ask him how he felt about the draft in general and how he feels about not getting Gaming Monster.
Yeah, how do you feel about the draft, and how do you feel about letting the best named player, Gaming Monster, not go to your team, the NA Nits?
It was literally my next pick. Literally.
Oh my god.
Like of the entire thing, I had so my guy Sleepy, it's like 4 a.m. and he made that short list for us, and he was the next guy on the list. And same with Tej. Freeman took Tej 14th overall. He was also on our list. So as soon as we got Janaea into our Discord, he hopped in and he's like, "Yo, I don't care what we do, we're beating Freeman." He's got picked before me. That it was a very interesting draft. More so because the cap is a little bit tight, at least for me, because I have first and second round keepers.
Mm-hmm.
So to fit everyone is a little bit tough. But I think we got a good set of guys, and I'm really looking forward to this season.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this as well. I'm excited just given that because Premier has grown, it means that Elite feels almost there wasn't an entire identity onto Elite last season. Because some of the players felt like they belonged in Premier and some felt like they belonged in Challenger, but now Elite sort of seems to be its own thing. You've got both a lot of solid supportive and a lot of stars that I just saw as pieces to be used to build these teams, and now that they're all on teams, I have no idea which team will come out on top, so it's real exciting.
Yeah, I really agree with you, to be honest. The fact that Premier was so small last season, it meant that Elite had some really top-heavy guys, and it also had some bottom-heavy guys, like people that maybe should have been in Challenger instead, which really sucks, to be honest, because, sometimes it means that you don't end up with a team, or it means that you're playing with people way better than you.
Yeah, shout out to my 0.7 rating.
Yeah, it happens. To be honest, it happens even now, but maybe not as much. I think it's happening in Prospect this season instead of Premier or in Elite.
That's fair, given that Prospect is so small
it's so small now. Yeah, but the thing is, because they made the cap a little bit tight, it means that players, lower MMR, don't get or do get picked up instead. And then it means that people with higher MMR or mid MMR get to play as free agents, which we always need a lot of. So it's really good to see that. A lot of good teams, and I don't think there's any standout players, to be honest, in Elite. Like there's obviously like really solid players, like obviously Sleepy on my team, phenomenal on Tino's team, Dactor, Drawd, for example. There's a lot of good players, but there's no one that's like, like a wonder who's like just far and away better than anyone else in the tier. So it's going to be more about the team play, more about the no one that we know of. That's true. Yeah, that's actually that's my entire draft strategy in Prospect is you got to find that one gem who's like lower MMR. That people don't think. So last season for me it was Apache. The season before that was Greg, and they were both MVPs for me. So I'm hoping we've done it again, and maybe same thing in Elite. Paterno was for us a 5th round pick. He's on the lower end of the MMR, sure, but he's a solid player, and
definitely
it's just a matter of gelling with the team. I think the chemistry is going to be more important this season.
Yeah, if everyone's skill levels are closer together, it's going to be less about getting that hard carry and more about how well everyone can work together, which makes for really, really great teams, really interesting ones. I know that's how Challenger felt last season. When I got to play in it, and a lot of the best teams overall didn't just have one star player or carry, but instead really a full system that worked together.
Yeah, very true. I'm hoping we see that again across the entire league.
Mm-hmm. Looking forward to Premier, I know you have a lot of keeper picks. So you can
I
maybe
have
talk
5
about
keeper picks.
you can
so,
talk
yeah.
about some of these early rounds, given that you have all keeper picks in them.
Yeah, so when they combined Premier and Elite, it ended up with me having 7 keepers and only 5 roster slots, obviously. So that was one of the toughest things I've ever had to do as a GM was I had
Mhm.
to get rid of 2 players. And the players that we got rid of were Premier last season, and they were among the top players. It was A2 and Dark Potato. And it broke my heart to cut them because I knew they were great guys, they were great personalities, and above all, they were fantastic players. It's just because we added Elite into the tier, the MMR cap is so tight that I have 2 Premier players and 3 former Elite players, and I have literally 0 cap space, not even a single MMR.
Yeah.
So I think Aber had a similar situation where he had 6 or 7 keepers. So it's more about making sure you have the right players that fit within cap. Like for example, we have MST, arguably one of the best players in the tier, and we have Jack, who's also a solid Alper. We have Toldman, who he subbed for Premier last season and he held his own. We have Kami, even though he's a 7th round keeper, I think he'll hold his own. And Doctor obviously is a Premier player from last season. He's one of the best as well. So I think we have a solid team. It's just a matter of getting that chemistry going and seeing if we can match up with the other teams.
Yeah. Do you think there are any standout players that are just going straight through the draft that GMs in these like first upcoming picks? I know Big Slime has first overall, then of Seti Spaghetti, that you think people should look out for as going early?
I think most of those players already got signed, to be honest, last season, like MST, Hasty, who just went off in the finals last season. There's a couple of players like Drax, I think to look out for. Trix is a perm FA, but he'll be a super sub if he does play. Dark Potato, the player I cut, I think is he should, in my opinion, go in the first round. Same with From Behind, he's a very solid player. Comrade Sniper is a very
Yeah.
solid player. He subbed for us as well. So
So right
it's
in between Drax and From Behind, we have our very own Iltimnik. I don't even know how to say it. That works. It shortens it.
Whatever works for you, man.
So more
and I
on
forgot.
Drax.
I
would like
forgot
to
to
say.
mention. I forgot to
would like
mention
to say-
Sniffro, who was my AGM a few seasons ago. Very solid player, underrated
Ooh.
in my opinion.
All right.
Former admin as well, so he knows the ins and outs of the league.
Former admin. Shout out.
Former admins.
Shout out.
I would like
Who's
to
the
say
one
that
who
if Drax
helped
does
get me
not
into
go
casting
first
and everything?
overall, if Drax does not go first overall, I would be incredibly surprised. He is possibly
fair.
the best player in CSC, not just in the draft.
But keep in mind that Big Slime has 4 keepers, and he might not be able to fit him.
Ah, I see.
That's
well,
the issue.
first
Same with
actual
second.
not keeper pick in the draft.
I think that's going to
Mhm.
be either Gindet or Spence, because
All right.
Noodle has a
Big Slime. It's Drax. First overall pick.
I was wrong.
Going to Big Slime. They did have room and they went with him. I mean, it makes sense. Drax has been in CSC for a while and obviously top of the stats as far as combines go, and just a really solid pick overall. That being said, as we head to the second pick, it's another pick and it's T-Noodle, and of course, no one should feel bad that they're not drafted in this spot. T-Noodle and
Shocker.
Kirby are literally best buds. They won
Shocker.
Season 5 together, and so T-Noodle's going to be picking up Kirby. Obviously makes sense. Supreme going to go ahead and have that third pick, but it looks like it's a keeper. Inputted wrong, but
Supreme's
they'll make sure it's fixed.
I'm
So
clear.
keeping MST, meaning that now it's time for the Kekai to pick. Kekai, of course, led by Gindet, who's another player that won when Kirby was playing. But sadly, they're unable to keep Kirby, so I don't know. We'll see who they go with.
That fuming that he couldn't get Kirby.
Yeah.
I already
Or maybe
know.
he's
You wanna
happy.
leave.
He's like, nah, I want to beat him. I want to beat
Yeah.
Kirby.
The other
From
player,
Behind
there
going to
he
get
is.
picked up. From Behind's another that's like been around CSC forever.
Next obvious pick, I think, in my opinion. And then who's picking next?
I think
Spence.
Ill should
Okay,
definitely
I'd be
be picked
shocked
up,
if-
but Spence is kind of a guy that likes to go for weird picks, so I have
Renan.
no idea what
He's going
Spence is going to
Renan's
lock
here if
in.
He's still playing, I believe. Because there's no way he doesn't go if he's still on the board.
Who did you say?
Renand.
Oh, you thinking Renand? That could be a
I'm
solid
thinking
one.
Renand. I think he is the third best
Okay.
player in the draft. Yeah,
I think Renand's good, but
wouldn't go that far.
we beat Renand in
no,
season
no,
5
no,
when he was
no.
subbing for a team, and he just felt fine. He felt beatable. He wasn't an immovable object. Either way, Hacker
you
Haven
wouldn't say that to the man's
dives
face on land.
is
All
up
I'm
and
saying.
picking, and he's gone
Oh,
with Hedge
specific, man.
Clippers. An interesting pick, but Hedge Clippers and Opper, and one that he wanted to lock in to sort of, I guess, build his team around that. We'll see. All right. Pick 7. The Galaxy is going to be holding on to Hasty. Pick 8. Headhunters Guild going to be holding on to Yuno. And so we
Yuno,
loop back
one of the-
around Headhunters Guild. Again, another keeper, Mordak. And then Galaxy. It goes to Galaxy, and we'll see if they're able to pick someone up. I know they'll have to get an auto pick at the end of the round. Unfortunate, but either way, I feel like Premier is so top heavy. There are so many really good players at the top of it that like whoever they
He'll be
get,
fine.
even if it's auto, will be really good.
He'll be fine. Yeah, Yuno's a really solid keeper pick as well. Just want to mention, without him, I don't think they even make the finals, let alone win the finals. He was just
Headhunters, yeah,
I
they're
ridiculously
completely
cracked.
agree. Yuno is great. And he's
Yeah,
an
he was
IGL.
the sole reason I don't have a trophy this season or last season.
all right.
I think it's just because you can't draft good teams, but that's just me.
yeah.
We had 3 out of 4 teams in the finals, so I mean, we did something right.
And they just can't win.
We just can't.
All
win.
right.
We need a
Draft some
Fuffy on our
winners.
team.
Hacker Haven, they're next up on the pick. This is where Dibes, he's got a lot of options in front of him, and we'll see what he goes with for his squad on the Hacker Haven. Timer counting down, 20 seconds left for him to pick. We'll
Should have
see.
the Jeopardy theme song playing in the background.
Do. He goes with Clutch Bunny. An interesting one. Clutch Bunny, that's a good name. That's a good name. And they do have, of course, solid stats, and a solid one probably for their MMR as well.
Based on a name alone, it's a good draft pick.
Just based on the name? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to go off of the name.
I'm surprised
Spence?
our casting buddy hasn't gone yet.
Hey man, someone's gonna get a steal. What can I say?
Somebody's getting a great steal here in the draft.
We'll see, and it's
There-
going to be Spence.
Every
Spence
name I say
couldn't
gets
turn that
picked
down.
next.
I'll
Every time I say
be
a name.
honest, like these sort of top players, all of the players that were like popping off in combines and we know are really good, most all of them had been scooped up, drafted. Especially the ones that were already known, your Drax from behind Vernand. They've been in CSC for so long that people are going to just tend towards them. And so that means that now that Ultimate's been picked up, really the next DEs are all solid, but I feel like this is where we get past the superstars beyond a diamond in the rough that, I mean, who knows, could be swept up. Gindet is going to be keeping Andrew for the Kekai. NA Nade's going to be keeping Docta, and Hacker Haven going to be keeping Dova. Sinky, oh boy, flurry of keeper picks as Big Slime keep intact, another player who's been around for a while, and their assistant general manager. And so we go into round 3. At the top of round 3, we do have, CMK for the Galaxy is going to be getting Scroobs, SQROOBZ. That's a cool name, just because it's such a weird name. Scroobs. Anyways,
Scooby-Doo.
Big Slime have a keeper, Bardonius. They're going to be locking in, and so Upsetty Spaghetti is the next official pick as we begin to get around to that one here in round 3.
I'm currently 100% on my speak their name and they get picked. Who do you think I should say next?
Summoning.
I'm thinking if Clutch Bunny is still available, he goes
No,
next.
not Clutch
He's
Bunny.
gone.
Already got
Clutch
picked
Bunny was
up.
taken.
Oh, okay. And never mind on that.
KNZ maybe.
Dark Potato.
KNZ playing?
Ooh,
I think
Dark
KNZ could
Potato.
go here.
Dark Potato is a solid
Oh.
pick.
Dark Potato is a solid one, a solid FA
There's the
who
miss.
had to be cut, of course, unfortunately, but has been locked in. NA Nades keeping Jack as their keeper pick. That's pick
I remember
19.
correctly,
Pick 20
Dark
is the
Potato.
Kekai keeping A2. Order Samurai keeping FCL for 21. FCL is a very solid and experienced player. Upsetty
Former
Spaghetti
GM
keep
as well.
Apollo. And so the Galaxy, of course, we're going to have to run through that pick and go past them to see the Headhunters Guild keeping one Han, and then we will get one player auto-drafted to the Galaxy.
I have a pick coming up, so I actually have to run, but I will be back.
Yeah, we got to kick you out of here. Go to your draft room. Be responsible
We
or
can't be giving
whatever.
you any more secrets, you know?
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Even though everyone watching the stream gets all the secrets.
That is true.
Yeah, just watch the stream for my ultimate secrets. I'm honestly shocked at Kirby going so early, and then I realized that it was T-Noodle, and I'm like,
not
oh, it's Kirby.
surprised.
Of course he would.
Not at all. I think Kirby was like on the top 10 like all-time CSC teams. He was incredibly good. I was on that franchise, not the team, but the franchise during season 5, and he basically hard carried that team. It was like IGLing and
built their system as an IGL and played out of his mind. I literally swear he was like walling or something insane.
Speaking of walling, I think Megumeme is going to go next here.
All right, Comrade Sniper locked in for the Galaxy, and we go to round 4. No hackers allowed, even though Hacker Haven is a franchise name.
Megumeme to the Hacker Haven? That would be kind of
biggest. We need like a CSC fake news, like the Onion kind of page, and the first article is just Megumeme signed by Hacker Haven. God, that guy, that was hilarious.
We need a CSC Onion.
That sounds great. All right, Headhunters Guild gonna go ahead and lock in Martage. As now, or. Yes, they lock in Martage, and so we go to the Galaxy, who, of course, unable to draft right now, so we'll skip over them and see Hacker Haven, another keeper. So many of these teams with keepers, they're keeping Dale Cooper. And so Order of Samurai is up next. Order of Samurai, one of the teams that's sort of rebuilding from the start, but I mean, Renand, Iltimic, FCL. I feel like that's 3 players that I could all see going in the first round, so they've got a solid base to them, of course. We'll see who they get here, though. 28th overall, Order of the Samurai, going to be picking up. Oh, we have 30 seconds. I can't just drum roll for that whole time.
Who's left in Premier to pick up? I think a Pog pickup here would be Kowalski if he can be drafted. Shout out to Kowalski,
Kowalski would be an interesting. I feel like he would be a much more supportive player, but locking him in early, given he's got definitely a positive attitude to bring to a team. Oh, KNZ.
KNZ. Oh,
that's a fun one.
I actually played with KNZ prior to CSC as well.
KNZ kind of cracked. I would. Okay, love you, KNZ, but he would often be the last one alive, and we'd make fun of him for that. But he'd be really good, and it's terrifying. And one of my CSC memories is me in a 1v1 clutch against him, where he ran out of ammo after murdering all of my teammates, and I shot him in the body.
Yes,
all right.
Shade syndrome.
The Kekai.
Just kidding.
They're going to be grabbing Berthu, BRTH O, for their 29th overall pick. And so that goes then to the NA Nades, who are keeping Toldman. Shout out Toldman, part of tech committee, I believe, helping keep everything run smoothly and hopefully get us a website up soon. T-Noodle keeping Rats, and Sinky is keeping Bernard, meaning we jump to round 5. And this is where the keeper picks thin out just a little bit. Not too much. We've still got, 4 out of, 8 teams have keeper picks? Yeah. So we still have a lot. But either way, Big Slime keeping trash and Upsetty Spaghetti keeping crazy leads us to the NA Nades. Their first pick in this entire draft because the rest have been keepers. And we will see who the NA Nades are able to lock in. Though the Galaxy does auto pick up Zephyr Bit. Which Zephyr is definitely a cool thing to have in a name. Zephyr Bit joining the Galaxy as the 26th overall pick. As now it is the NA Nades' turn for them to see who they're gonna get. Obviously, we gotta wait. The rest of the keepers coming through, and we'll see. One interesting thing is if a team's basically already built with keepers, it can sometimes be tough if you're drafted near the end. As like everybody who's drafted has to almost like fight to be that last player. Though sometimes they know exactly who they want, and they are gonna take Kowalski. Supreme. Locking him in.
Oh,
That's a
okay.
dub for Kowalski. He gets to join the NA Nades. And definitely I'd put him as a player that can go in first, be supportive, but also just be really solid overall. I know that he was on that team with Trix, and he was the one besides Trix really putting up numbers to win the minor finals back in Season 5. All right, pick 36. That's going to be the Kekai, and they select Swift. So we swiftly move on to the next pick, which is Order of the Samurai.
I'm not sure if you've ever played against Kowalski when he's in a clutch, but it's probably one of the most scary situations you can ever be in. Like, that man has ice in his veins. I've seen him 1v3 clutch against me with an op so many times I could make a highlight reel out of it.
Damn. Well, Order of the Samurai taking Moingo. It's Mango with a W instead of an A. Always fun. Got to replace vowels with other letters. That's the classic gamer move. Dibes for the Hacker Haven, going to be keeping Seaweed, solid player who was signed in the middle of last season and really helped turn around that team that they joined for the Hacker Haven, which was previously known as the Dog Pound. And now they're keeping him. Obviously a solid piece to have. Next up is the Galaxy, who, of course, we're going to have to just wait for this timer to go down, as unfortunately we are missing one GM in this draft. And so we go on to the next one, a keeper pick, Headhunters Guild, keeping John Full. And so that pick 39 for the Galaxy will now come in, as it is Asmodeus. All right. That concludes round 5. We move on to round 6, our second to last round. Or actually, it looks like we might have a round 8 as well. Maybe just a couple picks in there. We'll have to see. But either way, Aber is keeping Matoaka as we now jump into the Galaxy, keeping CMK. And so Hacker Haven are your next team up with a pick. And we'll see who they lock in, as now it's really about either looking at unknown players, support players, or perhaps undervalued players. A lot of the time, these last rounds come through where sometimes people just don't have that player in their mind, and they get scooped up right at the end, and everyone's like, "Oh, I should have got them earlier." Either way, Hacker Haven going to be drafting Eroy, and so we go to the Order of the Samurai for pick 44. Pick 44, I believe they went to draft someone, but that player is marked as a perm FA, so they're going to have to go with somebody else. It would be broken if they could still select that player. We're not allowing Trix to be the 1.3 over the entire season guy is not being allowed to go this late. He was insane before. He carried me. I mean, no, I was the IGL that helped him develop into a star player. As Spence for Order Samurai takes Titan. And so we move on to the Kekai with pick 45. Oh. We might have a correction to come through. Let's give it a moment. I'm picking over as Spence selecting. It looks like they're going with Titan. We'll see. Are we
ridiculous?
Did we just go to the stick bug?
Ridiculous.
Did we just stick bug?
Got him again.
Did we just? Oh my god. A nice comedy break. Okay. This is amazing. Amazing.
Absurd.
All right. We're taking a moment for technical difficulties, and honestly, it's just a nice stick bug break, a nice little breather that we get to take.
Any stick buggers?
All right.
Shout
As
out
we
to
begin
Shade
to
for
wait,
the
we've
stick
seen a
bug.
good bit of the draft already come through. And I think it's interesting because it's tough to see the strategy of Premier, given that Premier literally is all of the top as far as CSC goes, meaning that, like, in theory, Simple could join the league and he'd be at the top of Premier and you could be drafted, theoretically. Meaning that in Premier, the question is, do you try to go as top heavy as possible? Do you gamble on those best players? Or do you try to get as even of a team as possible in order to essentially make a team that wins together? Or do you see if you can get both? Do you see if you can get a team where everyone is just absolutely insane?
So I feel like in Premier, you got to be a little bit more careful because you're gonna have a lot more of speed. Won't be as much of an advantage as it could potentially be in lower leagues. You're not gonna be able to just hold W out of something and it's gonna work out. You're gonna have to be a little bit more careful, more methodical, a little bit more of a set play on there. You got to catch people out of position instead of trying to brute force through.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think as the higher you go in tiers, it becomes less about aim and more about your game knowledge because everyone's going to be able to aim pretty well. It's more of just like, what goes on between those two ears of the player that gets drafted. And also another thing about the highest tiers of CSC is historically there have always been like 2 or 3 like obvious top 3 picks in like every season.
Mm-hmm.
So I think historically most teams try to go top heavy if they get early picks, but I don't know. I've seen some people come out and surprise others, namely the Headhunters Guild, have relatively later picks.
All right. It looks like there was a mislabeling of people as being perma-FA or not being perma-FA, and so we're just making sure all of that gets figured out. And while we do that, we get a short breather, short meditation time with everyone here to just relax. Shout out to the 86 viewers still out here chilling. Whether you're in Premiere or you're just deciding to hang out, we appreciate you. And we appreciate everybody that puts in the work to make sure this goes smoothly. Even you, Shade, for stick bugging all of us. We got stick bug law, but it's a lot of fun,
Speaking of stick bug, I'm about to go out and say it. I'm going to say the V word, Valorant. And we're going to talk about how it's a better game than Counter-Strike.
All right, so we have now kicked Legend from the voice chat. We can no longer hear him, and we are better off for... Honestly, debates like that are always fun to have. I see the tactical depth of Counter-Strike. I see the faster movement, the gameplay that... I feel like it's a little bit more depth to me. And also, all of the characters aren't walking through maple syrup the whole time.
I will agree. It's very annoying when you walk onto a site and you get hit by 3 blinds, 4 stuns, get smoked off 300 times, you stand in 4 mollies, and then Reyna comes in and one-taps you after a blind.
I will say I think the mollies irritate me the most. There's just zero counter.
Agree.
It just like they unironically just reduce the bomb timer by like 8 seconds or something like that.
The fact you can't extinguish Molotovs in Valorant just, I don't know, it makes people like Brim and Viper just incredibly OP. Because they can literally, like you said, they decrease the amount of seconds left that they have to defuse the bomb.
Yeah, they do have the half defuse, but otherwise.
Yeah, but if you're in a 1v1,
if it's a full defuse, if you're in a 1v1, you just won the round if you have some bizarre lineup.
Yeah.
It makes it at least fun for me because I can play it more casually. Which is always fun because with CS I feel like I always have to try so hard, except in the best way to play competitively casually, which is of course CSC. It's where you are. We're all here. We're playing for fun. And it's awesome.
The best way to play competitively, casually.
It's good. That's the tagline. We've got our whole marketing department working on that, and by that I mean like me, Max, and Keenan just like vibing out in a voice chat.
It looks like we're resuming the draft, actually.
Ooh,
And
pick
going right into a
45.
hog
It's the
pickup.
Kekai. And pick 45 is going to be Step Bro. Shout out Step Bro. Overall, a solid
fact.
player, one that I've definitely has performed well in the past, and more recently I just haven't seen on a team for a bit. Until now, we've got to get to see them back in action. The next player to jump into the action is going to be drafted by the NA Nades. Supreme still got 20 seconds left to lock in his pick, and we will see what they decide to go with. It is Rax.
Fun fact about Stepbro, by the way, I played on his team in Season 2, and we should have won a trophy, but one of our players reset their router, and they had to forfeit Map 3. Very unfortunate.
Shout out to the ghetto seasons of CSC. No, I'm just kidding.
The ghetto seasons?
That's all the seasons. This is
Uncalled
CSC.
for.
We love CSC, but you know, we're just a bunch of people having fun.
Legend pretending he wouldn't have thrown anyway.
T-Noodle gonna be keeping for the upsetty spaghetti. They're keeping Yeffel, I believe previously known as Omega, but overall a solid one for them to be holding on to, as they keep that for their 47th overall pick. We go to pick 48, where Sinky is going to be picking VIP Varel, the Stiko of CSC, first overall in Elite back in Season 6. Now being locked in here, a solid player, one who's been on the franchise Woodwind Gang that has now become big, and getting to stay there, stick with them and play under Sinky. As now we go to the 49th pick, which is also belonging to Big Slime. They're going to be locking in Agamax, Agammax. All right. After this Big Slime pick, it's Upsetty Spaghetti up next at pick number 50 here in round 7, which we're now into, as we're getting ready for that one. A short delay, but don't worry about it. As we now go into this pick 50, Upsetty Spaghetti, they got to pick someone out. 25 seconds left for him. And this is where, I mean, getting this late in the draft, it's tough, but also these GMs are prepared. They know these players. They know the diamonds in the rough that they want. And T-Noodle wants Swedish. Picking him up, Swedish locked in for Upsetty Spaghetti, meaning now 51st overall, it is the NA Nades. They're going to be
left in the draft.
locking in. We'll see. Pick 51, the NA Nades. They will be taking do 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 do. They will be taking Toxic. As we now go to pick 52, which is a keeper pick for the NA Nades, as they are going to be grabbing Komi. And so pick 53 belongs to the Samurai, and they're keeping Chutang. 2 keepers in a row, meaning that Hacker Haven will be the ones up next to take one of our final few draft eligible players here in the draft. Everybody gets drafted to a team, and even if you're cut, you can go around as a free agent, either substituting or getting signed. And I mean, players move all around here in the draft, so even these later rounds are very important for us to pay attention to, as Dives will be taking Dirty, but spelled with a 7 instead of a T. Kind of creative. All right, pick 55. This one is belonging to the Galaxy. Again, going to be an auto pick for them as it goes through. The counter will count down. And then pick 56 will come to the Headhunters Guild, who will be taking J-Mao. This means that it looks like we might actually have one One player left on this draft? We'll have to see.
One more, or
as we wait to see who it is. Of course, our lovely transaction managers and admin. Shout out Scraps, who's been the one facilitating this entire thing, helping be the one to sort of run this all, keep all of our GMs in line. We'll see who ends up going to the Galaxy as we wait to see it come through.
Drum roll.
Like we
Can
have
you hold it?
two
Can you hold
more.
it that long?
It looks like we might be getting to the final DE and then on to some keeper picks. As now I'm just... Actually, there are no more keeper picks after this. This might just be the final DE. Alright,
Cool.
final player left. Chilled Pyro. Going to be locked in for, I believe that is the Galaxy. Meaning that our draft, we've done it. And it only took 2 hours?
I bet.
This is crazy. All right.
We literally cut the time in half from our last draft. Kind of cool.
Literally did, and that is exciting. I believe there might have been a mix-up as far as DEs and perma-phase go, but they will be making sure that everything goes through smoothly, and no matter what, everybody will get on a team. Everybody gets a chance to try out at minimum as we now go into the preseason. But before I talk about the preseason, I just want to see if there's anything for us to chat about. Taking a look at this draft board overall, looking exciting. In the first round, Drax, of course, going first overall. Star Opera, Kirby jumping in there. Some keeper picks. Interesting that Drax, From Behind, and Renand all being taken in the first round. Don't they all play on the same ESEA team?
They do, and the Hustlers are honestly pretty good, and I'm not surprised that they were the top 3 players, or top 4, other than Kirby, who was probably, I had at number 2 at least. I think those are all like the uncontested top 4 players of those who could be drafted, of course.
It's all subjective though, and we really just have to see how the season goes. I mean, I think we're all excited to see how it goes. I know we have one person excited to get in there and play.
Samurai winning it all, calling it now.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
I can root for the Samurai now.
Legends team, not mine.
No, wait. Did both of my co-hosts just get drafted to?
Yeah. From DE to
Oh my
OS, both
God.
of your co-hosts.
Both of us on OS.
Oh my
now.
gosh, we're being taken over. This is
OS
All
best
right.
franchise.
Anyways,
Down
before we
with
get fed
Mechatronic.
too much propaganda, I just want to say, just overall, thanks to everybody who made this one possible. Shout out Shade for running our production, making sure everything goes smoothly. Shout out El Temnik. Shout out Legend. Both of you jumping in here. I know I just put out a ping like, I need some faces to come help me get through this, and you both did amazingly. Shout out to all of our admins making this run smoothly. Transaction managers making sure everybody you can see in that little transactions announcements box down there is getting signed to their squads. And yeah, just thank you all so much. Now we get to jump into the preseason games very soon. By very soon, I don't mean like we're going to break. I mean like next Thursday and then Tuesday and then Thursday, and then the games happen and everything gets to start rolling as your teams get finalized in CSC Season 8. Now that all the players are in their squads, gets to be underway. Gameplay is coming your way soon, so stay tuned, follow this Twitch stream, and have a wonderful night.